Hey, what's up? Michael Nicastro here. In this video, I'll be talking about what hospitality is. I'll give you specific instructions and personal anecdotal examples. This is the culmination of my experiences throughout my entire life. From my childhood, having a speech impediment and being labeled as dyslexic. From my first professional job in advertising. From my travels throughout Asia and Europe, and most importantly, during my hospitality career at Union Square Hospitality Group. From these experiences, I developed my own way of thinking and service style relating to a restaurant setting, but these can be applied to any business or social environment. These are not dark side tips to manipulate the guests and take their money. These tips focus on building that experience for the guests. This is contrary to the traditional sales model that focuses on large short-term purchases without much thought on the overall experience. So without further ado, let's dive into the content. My definition of hospitality is listening objectively and using emotional intelligence to make people happy. What does that even mean? People are emotional. When they're sad or upset, they tend to voice out their concerns or desires. It's your job to understand their request and provide a specific action on their behalf. What is hospitality? Listening, showing empathy, and offering solutions. So how do you provide it? You provide what the guest has requested and you offer added value. That doesn't mean giving away free stuff. That means genuinely caring about the guest's experience. Hospitality service goes a layer deeper. Let's look at what factors enhance the hospitality experience. Number one, first impressions. How you speak, how you carry yourself. This all influences the interaction. When I was a manager at a restaurant, I used to always wear my outfit similar to this, a blazer and a pocket square. I like to think that your appearance matters. Not really what you're wearing, but the care that you put into actually wearing it. My shirt is pressed, everything is clean. Number two, details. Details are all important. Are you there each step of the way for the guests? I like to say that hospitality is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And number three, listen. Listen more than you speak. Guests want to feel like they're being heard and you understand them. Let me give you some service industry examples to better understand hospitality. Let's say you're in a new city, you're staying at a hotel, you remember the front desk person that upgraded your room for no reason. Or you're dining out at night, the server gave you some fantastic recommendations on activities or other restaurants to check out in the new city. I'm standing in front of Shake Shack. Maybe I go there so often that they even remember my name. Next time I go in there, they say, "Hey Mike, how's it going?" That's hospitality too. How do you really understand the guest's needs? You have to read them. There are 4 steps. 1, observe social dynamics. 2, ask questions. 3, build rapport. And 4, be proactive, not reactive. Let's dive into each topic. 1, observe social dynamics. Let's pretend we're in a restaurant setting. There are 2 dining scenes, a first date and a business dinner. What do these have in common? For the first date and business dinner, you may want to provide a little bit more hands-off style of service. For the first date, you want to create a very comfortable, peaceful atmosphere. No need to be so uptight. For the business dinner, they could be taking out some clients. So you want to make sure that all the details are executed flawlessly and you maintain professionalism. I'm not saying stereotype all guests. This is not a guaranteed approach, or it's not even ethical. What I'm saying is that we as social beings tend to show similar patterns in different social situations. Number 2, ask questions that elicit a response. Any fun plans this weekend? That's a specific question. Number 3, build rapport. Any great salesperson will tell you this, and that gets established through communication with the guest. And number 4, be proactive, not reactive. Anticipate the needs of the guest. Don't wait for them to tell you what they want. Refill the empty cup of coffee. Send the follow-up thank you email. Managing expectations is important in hospitality and any type of personal relationships. Don't assume that everyone always understands your thought process and what you're thinking. Now, as a manager, it's important that you clarify and manage your new employees' expectations. You need to clearly define the job description right from the beginning. Also, what helps is you actively try to bring them in to your discussion, introduce them to their colleagues and other managers so they feel welcome. Now, I remember when I started a job, I was spending a lot of time by myself and sitting alone. I wasn't really welcome. Now, did I stay a long time at that job? No. Now let me give you 4 tools to properly manage expectations. Number 1, proactive versus reactive service. I said this before, I'm going to go over it again. Number 2, transparency is key. Number 3, set boundaries. And number 4, never say no, say let me check. Now I'm gonna go into each of these in a little bit more detail and provide you with a specific story. Number one, proactive versus reactive service. And I've used this example before, but if a food's taking a long time at table 36, you as the hospitality provider should go to the chef, ask the chef specifically, how long is the food gonna take to go to this table? With that information, then you go back to the table and say, excuse me, your food will be out in 5 to 7 minutes. I just checked with the chef. Is there anything that I can do in the meantime? The fact that you went over and you proactively told them how long their food was gonna be until they arrived, they don't think there's a problem at all. Number two, transparency is key. Let's say you work at a hotel and a guest comes up to you and is like, oh, I would like a room. Let's assume that you're all reserved for that evening and you have no more rooms available. The guest might not believe you. To show transparency, you can go ahead, pick up the phone and call the hotel next door. The guest believes you then. Number three, set boundaries. Now, hospitality is not a yes game all the time. It's yes within reason. So let's say a guest wants a 3-course meal and they want to be out of your restaurant in 1 hour. If you establish from the beginning that that may not be possible due to the time constraint, then they're not going to be upset. But if you say that we can do it and then you don't deliver and it shows up a little bit later, then you lost their trust. And number four, never say no, say let me check. This is very important. If you say no right away, you cut the interaction off 100%. Saying let me check shows the guest that you're at least trying in their favor. A hospitality mogul named Tillman Fertitta, I just read his book called Shut Up and Listen. In his book, he gives a lot of examples about never saying no to the guest, and I'm going to paraphrase one, so bear with me. He talks about the transition that restaurants go through from breakfast to lunch. During this time, staff changes and food items change. From time to time, you get a guest coming in from 10:30 to 11:30 that would like the breakfast menu when they have already transitioned to lunch. The common response is just to say, we have our lunch menu now, this is what it is. But in Tillman's book, he states, is it really that hard to throw 2 eggs in a pan, serve a slab of bacon and 2 pieces of toast? No, it's not. Maybe you don't serve them your well-known Eggs Benedict, but serving them some eggs is not really that hard and it really makes a difference. He also states to charge them a premium for this service because you're giving them added value. The main point is to never say no, to say let me check, even if it's really a no. So that right there is managing expectations. Hospitality service works and is important, but you need to remain flexible and adjust accordingly in the moment. Misreading your guests and providing too much service can sometimes negatively affect the experience. 3 ways to handle unhappy guests are 1, stay calm, 2, be mindful, and 3, offer solutions. So now let me give you a restaurant example for how to handle unhappy guests. When I was a manager in a restaurant, one of our veteran servers came over to me and said, Nicastro, I need help. Food's taking so long at this table and they're really upset. I naturally feel anxious because I want to avoid this contentious situation. But sometimes in life you have to do the things that are uncomfortable. So I went over to the table, introduced myself as the manager, and immediately outlined how we failed in their experience thus far. I showed empathy. They seemed unfazed and still upset. So I offered a solution. I said, I'm going to bring out the food that you ordered in a timely manner. After that, they seemed a little bit happier, but I knew I needed to do something extra. So to offer added value, and you guys could use my trick that I'm about to share with you, I brought over the dessert menu and said, I want you to have a nice end to your meal. I want you to have a sweet finish. Here's our dessert menu. You can choose anything you like from here and I'll take care of it. After that moment, they became invested in that restaurant. Why? They went through ups and downs, but on one down, they were brought back up. That's hospitality. And that creates a lasting restaurant like the one that I'm standing right in front of, Delmonico's Steakhouse, which has been around since 1837. In practicing listening, showing empathy, and offering solutions, you'll begin to notice a shift in your relationships with your friends, teachers, family, business contacts, everyone. Hospitality starts with people and ends with people. I'm Michael Nicastro. Thank you for listening.